Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Susie. I have a vintage booth where I sell upcycled items and thrift store finds. I also sell IOD or Iron Orchid Designs if you're not familiar with that, fusion mineral paint, and recycled decoupage papers. Today's video is going to be a what sold in my booth last month. A lot of you guys really enjoy these videos, and it gives you an idea of how you can make money flipping items that you find at thrift stores. A lot of my other videos, if you're new here, are thrift flip videos where I show you how I flip the items that I find and transform them into more modern or more my style home decor. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. So I am going to start adding in what I sell online also, rather than just what sells on the booth until it gets to be too much, I guess. And also someone was asking me about how the paint sales and IOD sales go. So I thought I would give just a little overview of that in this video as well. So thank y'all for watching, and let's go ahead and get started with what sold in my booth for the month of July. So I'm gonna start online, and my friend Paula, who orders lots of stuff from me, bought this white wooden duck that I made. Also, if anything that I'm showing you now, I'll put a picture up on the screen. If I did a video showing you how I upcycled that item, I will link it down below in the description box of this video, along with all the links where you can shop my website, susieonthefarm.com, and you can get your own products to make these items. So I sold this white wooden duck online for $12. I also, in the same video, did a ceramic duck, and it sold also this month for $14. I sold this vintage stoneware canister set that I got at, I'm trying to think, where did I get that? Hello, Nacho. Do you want to be in the video? How about not showing everybody your hiney? Come here. There we go. This is Nacho. He is in my videos a lot. He likes to help me upcycle items, although he is getting a little bit more chill, where he's just not all up in my business all the time. And now he's gonna lay right on my papers. Okay, so I can't remember where I got this canister set. I did not do a thing to it except for clean it up, and I sold it for $32. I made this sunflower plaque with an IOD paint inlay in a video, and I sold the plaque for $13. I sold this set of vintage anchor hocking Wexford glass sugar and creamer, and I sold it for $30. I think I can't remember where I got it. I didn't pay, I think I paid about $6 for it. I sold this vintage cookbook that I painted and put a transfer from the Seed catalog transfer book on, and I sold it for $13. I sold, finally, I made this a long time ago, this little cloche riser. I sold it for $23. I sold a little vintage biscuit cutter for $10. So cute. I sold this rooster and hen salt and pepper shaker for $11. And I sold this set of two candlesticks. They were silver candlesticks, and I put these little basket tops on them. The set of those sold for $25. And also I sold a little metal basket for $9, and the little wooden box that I put transfers on from the Desperado transfer pack for $15. Okay, So that's all the vintage and upcycled items that I sold online for the month of July. Now we're going to get to the booth sales. I'm not going to go into details on the IOD or the paint. I'll just give you a dollar amount when I'm done. So I sold a couple more of those doorknob hangers. I got these from Audrey's. It's a wholesale company that I order for sometimes, and they rent over really well. And I went to order some more, and they don't have them anymore. So hopefully they'll come back. But if not, I'm out of them. I sold 2 of them for $9 each. I made at least a dozen. I'm going to make some more of these sachet bags. I saw Erin at the Provincial Farmhouse do them, and they were so cute. And they're just made out of drop cloth, hot glue, and I got some of those like Downy Unstoppables, the real scented things that you put in your wash, and put them in there, and they are selling like crazy. I've sold all, I think there may be 2 left of those dozen, and I sold them all for $6 each. I'm gonna make more, and I'm probably gonna put $7.50 on them since they did sell really well, but they're super cute and really easy to make. I sold, there's another sachet. I sold this glass salt and pepper shaker that had, I think it had a brass or a silver top on it. I'm not looking at the picture right now, but I sold the salt and pepper set for $9. I sold this single horse bookend. It was a kind of a really ugly gray, and I painted it and distressed it, and I sold it for $9, just one of them. You don't need 2 bookends either. You can always put your books up against a wall or another decor item and use one bookend on one side. I love to do that. I sold this little frame that I made with the toadstool mold from IOD for $11. Had it a little while, so I'm glad it finally sold. Okay, there's another sachet for $6. I sold this little cathedral type window for $7 and a little brass frame for $6. Back a long time ago, I found all these little state-shaped baskets, and I had a couple Alabama ones, and somehow or another, I picked up a Mississippi one too. Alabama borders Mississippi, so I thought maybe somebody will be here and like it, and someone finally bought the Mississippi one. The Alabama one sold a long time ago. This one sold for $12. Mom picked up this pheasant at a yard sale. I think she paid a couple bucks for it, and I sold it for $15. I sold a bunch of these pink peonies, or peonies, as some people say, for $12. These are some of the floral that I get wholesale from Audrey's Your Heart's Delight. I sold a Reader's Digest vintage book for $6, and a little ceramic bunny, I think it's this one, for $6. I sold these little pictures, little boy and girl pictures. I did get them at the thrift store. I think I paid $3 each for them. I painted and distressed the frames and sold them for $12 each. I sold a couple of doilies for $3 each and another sachet. So that is all the vintage and upcycled items that I sold in my booth and online this month. I'm going to quickly go over some numbers for the paint and the IOD and the decoupage papers. With this stuff, you have to keep in mind that even though it may sound like my sales were a lot, you have to pay for the product, and you always have more inventory. So you always got money sitting out there. So you got to plan for that. You're going to have, if you decide to sell IOD or Fusion Paint, you're going to have a big upfront cost, and you're slowly going to make your money back on that. So it's an investment, but it is worth it, and my sales online are picking up, and so I hope to continue growing those. It's really more than a one-man job when you have 3 wholesale items that you're selling, and you have to keep that inventory ordered. and up, but I am doing the best that I can, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of making sure I have things in stock all the time. And hopefully the sales will continue to grow so I can continue to order new product. So in the booth this month, or in July, I sold 17 decoupage papers. Now, I sell the decoupage papers for $7.95 each. I have to pay for the papers. I also have to pay for the packaging and printing the labels and everything. So I've kind of, the best that I can figure. I also have to pay for shipping to me, as well as if I sell them online, the shipping, which I do have a shipping charge. So sometimes it works out where I have a couple pugs left on the shipping. It depends on where it's going and how much it weighs. Sometimes I have to pay extra for the shipping. So I've got my shipping set at $9.95 for a flat rate, and it seems to be working out pretty good. Like I said, there's enough that, you know, I have a little bit left over sometimes, and then I have to pay more. So it's working out pretty good. So I'm going to just leave my shipping charge at the $9.95. But at the booth, in the store, I sold 17 decoupage papers, but I did not start selling them till after the middle of the month. So that was really only a couple weeks in July. In the store, paint sales were okay, but I do have a partner at the store that goes in half and half with me on buying the paint at the store. So I have to split all the profit with her. And her name is Paige, and she's the sweetest thing. She's the manager of the store also. The paint sales at the booth were $5.76 for the month of July. And IOD, I have a lot of regular customers that come to the store just to get the IOD. I appreciate them so much. They've been with me since the beginning at the original booth. And I sold $470 of IOD at the booth this month. But the real good seller is IOD online. I have, in July, I sold $1,258 of IOD products. I sold, paint is not doing that well online. I'm hoping that it will pick up. I know that Fusion is a little bit more expensive than some of the other paints, such as DIY or Dixie Belle. But Fusion is an all-in-one paint, so you also don't have to prime your items, and you don't have to seal them most of the time. So it's kind of a wash, but I love Fusion paint. I have used a lot of different paints. I like using chalk paint, but the first time that I used the Fusion mineral paint, I was hooked. And I love using it. I still will go back and use some chalk paints every now and then, but the Fusion's my go-to paint now. So online, I only sold $207 worth of paint in the month of July, but the decoupage papers are selling really well online. In that 2-week time in July, I sold 58 decoupage papers. So the problem with that is it does take a while to get them, you know, to you. So you have to just constantly make sure that you're ordering enough. And you really don't know what's going to sell right away. So I'm learning that, and I think I'm doing pretty good keeping my decoupage papers in stock. I'm out of a few of them right now, but I've got plenty of the fall ones and the pumpkins and such like that, and a lot of Christmas left over too from the new release of the recycled decoupage papers. So that's all my sales. I thought just real quick, I would go through and do a little question and answer with this video too. So I'm going to look back through some videos and find a few questions that you guys have asked me. And then I'm going to give you guys the answers here in this video. So last month, I did a little impromptu question and answer video. I did it randomly on a Sunday, and it just didn't get a lot of views. I don't know if that's because people really weren't that interested, or YouTube didn't put it out there that much because it was not my normal video release day. But I did get pretty good bit of comments on that video, and some of them were questions. So I'm going to do a little Q&A here with this video of just like the last 4 videos in July. I'm going to try to do one every month so it's not so many questions all at once. And I may not always do a separate video because I kind of like putting it in with this video. So, Amy Parker says, I have a question for you. I have several transfers and decoupage, but I have yet to find a proper way to store them. What do you use to store your open cut or loose transfers and decoupage paper? So I did go over there and grab, this is a 2-gallon Ziploc bag, and it's got all my transfer scraps in it. And decoupage paper is the same thing, but I have it over here in the drawer. I didn't get it out, but I use these 2-gallon bags, Ziploc bags, to put them in. And as far as storing stamps and stuff, this is the best. IOD sells these envelopes, and I just take them out of their package, cut the name off, and put them in these envelopes. And then I have like a little filing cabinet that I put them in. I probably should put the names up here, it'd be easier. And then I have all my molds in this here, and I'm running out of room, so I may have to get a bigger one of those. Okay, let's see what else questions are on this video. A lot of comments on how I handled the negative comments. I don't ever really get too upset about them, but if you didn't watch that last Q&A video, you can go back because I pointed out some of the negative comments and address them. Okay, in the video after the question and answer video was the Goodwill Bins thrift haul, where I finally made it to a Goodwill Bins. There's a new one in Madison, Alabama, and I went there with Mom. Karen Sims asked, are you from Madison, Alabama? Her daughter and family live in Madison. I don't live in Madison. It takes me about an hour and 20 minutes or an hour or so to get there. My booth's in Coleman. I live south of Coleman in a little town called Hayden, which is kind of between Coleman and Birmingham. Misty asked, where are the bins? I live in your state. They just opened one in Madison. It's super clean and super nice, and I found a lot of things there if you want to go back and watch that video. Okay, the next video where I'm going to answer some question was the thrift flip video where I did a lot of the sunflower things and used the Bellwood paint color. Patty asked, wouldn't it have been easier to paint the flowers before you glued them on? Maybe. Sometimes it is, but I don't mind gluing mine on and then painting them, especially when they're made out of resin. So I didn't have any problem painting them before I glued them on. It may have been easier to get the sides and stuff really well, but I was... what I was doing there was kind of blending waxes and stuff over the paint colors anyway, so I wasn't going for perfection. Oh, I remember this question. Joe Ellen asked, are you waiting until the paint dries but not 24 hours to apply the white wax? I have never waited 24 hours. I'll use a heat gun and white wax it, or dark wax, or whatever, clear wax, anything. Right then. Are you supposed to wait 24 hours? But no, Joellen, I do not. As soon as they're enough dry, I'll wax them. Also had some questions from last month's What Sold in My Booth video. One of the main things commented is how my prices are not high enough. And like I said last month, I'm trying to get better at that. Amy asked, I'd really like to know how you're doing on the paint, IOD, and decoupage sales. Tammy was the reason that I threw that in with the sales video this month. I may not do that every month. There's no way I can tell, everything that sold. So I just thought I would do the dollar amounts. Oh, there were several comments about how nice I looked in that video, and y'all, that made me feel so good. Thank you for saying that. Several people said they couldn't tell what was different. I'm sure it was probably a combination of things. When I made that video, I had just got back from the beach, so I had a pretty good tan. It had not been long since I had got my hair trimmed, so it was, you know, a good hair day, I guess. And also, I started taking Ozempic for my diabetes about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months, and I've lost like 20 pounds. So that has something to do with it. And also, you probably noticed that I talk a little funny sometimes. It's because I have Invisalign in my mouth that's kind of closing up the gap in my front teeth. If you'll look back at some of my older videos, I had quite a gap between my teeth. It's never really bothered me up until I got a YouTube channel, and I have had some pretty mean comments about it. But that's not really what bothered me. I guess I was just seeing it more often, editing and, you know, taking pictures for thumbnails and stuff, and it started to bother me some. It wasn't necessarily the gap. It was, you know, one of my teeth was kind of crooked too. So I'm trying to fix that just a little bit, and these are working really well. You'll really notice it if you go back and look at some of my earlier videos. It's not going to be perfect. I didn't want to pay, you know, $8,000 for braces, so I'm giving this a shot first, and I think it's working. I only have a month left with them, so I'm anxious to not have to wear them all the time because it's kind of annoying. So thank y'all for all them sweet comments, though, about how I looked good. Oh, here's a good question that I really don't have a good answer to. Ladybug Carrie asked, "Hi Susie, this was an informative video. Would you mind sharing how you keep inventory and how you log it all?" Okay, online, I have no problem with my inventory, but because I use Squarespace, and it has a wonderful inventory, and like when somebody buys something, it takes it out of inventory. When you get something in, you put it in, you put how many you have, and as people buy them, it, you know, subtracts it. The store, however, is a different story. I can't list the things, you know, that are in the store on that inventory because they might sell and they don't, you know, it wouldn't subtract immediately. I would have to know it sold and get it subtracted. Most of the time I would know, but I don't want to take that chance. So I just go to the store pretty regular, actually, and, you know, glance at things and see if I need to refill things. And then about once a month, I'll take an actual inventory of my IOD and decoupage papers and paint. And if I'm out of something, I'll check to see if I have it in my online inventory, and then I can take it out of my online inventory and take it to the store. But I do need to get a better way to inventory stuff in the store. And I need to be more careful. If I use something out of my home inventory, I have to subtract it out of my inventory. A time or two, I've got in trouble with that. And I've sold something online that I didn't have here, but luckily I had one at the booth. So I was able to fill those orders. Okay, so that is all of the July video questions that I quickly glanced through here and found. I'll try to do the Q&A if y'all enjoy that once a month. I may throw it in with the what sold in my booth. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. Don't forget to come back next week. I've got to get going on fall, and it won't be long till we start working on Christmas. So I hope to see y'all again next week. Thanks for watching.